See him marching through. Please let's give it up for Tom Murray, please, everybody. All right, Tommy.
Do we have the lights?
Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello. Hello. I want you all to listen to me.
Okay.
I'm gonna invite some very special people that are part of my lives and a part of making this record. So I'd like to bring the first band that is 2020. A lot of you guys go back from 1960s to now. So if the Carnegies are in the room, would you please come forward? Carnegies.
There they are.
Thanks, Tom.
You're the best, man.
Well, what I meant, I've been in the music business my whole life. And I've probably, a lot of you out there is, I left Minnesota around the late 70s. And I've been in Colorado for the last 38 years. And what I was doing back then, probably at least half of you guys out there, I booked. Yeah. I was at Schoen Productions and I had my own company. What was the name of it? One of those from years ago. So these guys I saw play, and I want to give them as much support and help of my knowledge and my experience to get these guys to an international level. When I saw them, the three things that I've done my whole life is your talent is God-given, your fame is public-given, and your ego is self-given. So watch out. So I want these boys to talk, and they got the gift. There's a 5-piece band, and just watch them go. Here we go.
Tom, thank you, Tom.
Record this. I have, I'll start with now what is called the classic litter. The classic litter was Denny Waite as lead singer, Zippy Kaplan, who's in the house. I don't know if Denny's here yet. And we made 2 albums, great albums, and we got one big hit globally on it. It's called Action Woman. And now with myself, I've taken the Litter name, when we made the Emerge album, Denny and Zippy were not in that lineup. And what the Litter was for those 2 first albums, and what we went into, we were kind of like 10 years ahead. We were kind of like part of a heavy metal kind of situation and intense music. So this is about this album. With that lineup, it was Mark Gallagher as lead singer. It was Dan Rinaldi on rhythm guitar. It was Jim Kane on bass. It was me, of course. And when we did record, there was a new guitar player called Sean Jones. And that's when we were right after the first ABC album came out. And so we went that direction. So I just want everyone to know that the first two albums is now the classic litter. And now it's what the litter was in 1970. I came up with the stuff that we were doing in those days. And it inspired me to make this album. So I really hope you dig it. The engineer, there were two engineers involved. I did the basic tracks in Minneapolis at ARM Entertainment, and John Domago is in the house. Where are you, John? John has been he is the music, and now he books multi-platinum bands. So I'm glad you came, John. So you ready? You ready to hear this album? Please listen, and if you like it, do so. In 1969, we had an album, the Emerge album. It sold over 500,000 copies. That's when we were traveling with bands like Led Zeppelin, The Who, and probably 75 of the greatest bands in the world. I want to tell you one story, if I can get your attention on this. We were playing a venue. There were a couple people here that were at this show here tonight, and we were playing. It was called the Electric Theater in Chicago, and the billing was Led Zeppelin. This is 1969 now. Led Zeppelin, Savoy Brown, Jethro Tull, and the Litter. It was a 2-day event. 5,000 could fit in a round venue, and everyone sat on the floor in those days. And here we were, and there were like 20,000 outside that couldn't get in. And they were kind of rioting, but it wasn't violent rioting, but they were pissed because they couldn't see Zeppelin. You know, it was a 2-day event concert. The second afternoon, I went into the venue and set up my drums, and I always okay, not getting my trailer. I set up my drums and I was jamming. I rehearsed, even though I was on the road, and I practiced. And guess who walks in the room? John Bonham. And I went, whoa, you know. And I met him the first night, you know, I talked to all of them. And so here we are. And John goes, hey, you want to jam? This was the greatest moment of my drumming career. And I want to express that. This was the greatest moment. With all the bands we played with, you know, I got stories up the wazoo, you know. But John came up and we jammed for about 45 minutes. And it was awesome. And not an ego, but I'm a pretty good fucking drummer, you know. And all the tracks that are on this album, that's me. I'm playing them. And I don't want to leave out one guy that did the bass on this album. It's Larry Wiegand from Crow. And South 40 from years ago. So Larry did all the bass parts on this album. And so going back to jamming with John, then the other two drummers from Savoy Brown and Jethro Tull, they came on, set their drums up, and I'm just going, I'm in heaven. You know, how many people get a chance to actually do this? And God gave me a gift, and He gave me the path that I was supposed to be. And so then after that, each member of the other bands came, and it ended up, no one was there. I wish we would have had a camera. But we had a jam with all four of the bands. We were all up on stage jamming. So on this album, this is the only cover that's on the album. We had it on our '69 album, and we were playing out in LA, and actually Stephen Stills came into our dressing room and said, guys, I love what you did with my song. And that was cool. Yeah. So it's now today as it was 50 years ago, with all the shit that's happening in the world right now. So this is for what it's worth.